Welcome to Indie Film Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I am Chuck. We're two independent filmmakers that decided to make a podcast where we share our failures so that you can avoid them.
So follow along on our journey as we struggle to rise to incredibly improbable indie film fame.
Or we just get really far in debt because of equipment purchases.
Yeah.
And filming costs.
Yeah.
And now podcast costs.
Wow.
It never ends.
We did not think this through.
I wish I would have taken up like knitting. I feel like that's a cheap hobby.
I have actually been crocheting the same blanket since 2018.
Oh, wow.
So that hobby hasn't stuck very well for me.
Are you an indie crocheter as well?
Indie crocheter.
Indie crocheter, indie filmmaker.
I can do one stitch.
So many hobbies.
Yes.
But it was probably pretty expensive for that yarn compared to like a Blackmagic camera, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, one Blackmagic shoot, you get like, what, a quarter of a roll of yarn?
Yeah.
Do they measure it in rolls? Is that how we measure yarn?
I don't know.
I don't. Well, on the subject of yarn aside.
Yes, we should probably talk about indie film. The spin-off podcast about yarning and crocheting will be coming soon.
Stay tuned.
As this inevitably doesn't make us any money. So this month...
Just like our films.
Yes. This month of February, we're talking about the perils of production.
And specifically, today's episode is directing don'ts.
Don't direct. Unless you're ready for it. Do a direct.
Do.
You got to direct. What are the roles of an indie film director? There's so many of them.
There are no rules.
No roles.
Oh, I thought you said rules.
What are the rules? The first rule of indie film directing is demand that your family come watch your indie film that you directed.
Yes, yes.
And demand your friends be in the indie film that you directed.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Yell. Still owe you for all those film appearances I made you do.
Yes, that's some directing don'ts that we all do when we first start.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I think do make movies with your friends. I think that's a good.
Honestly, you're never
thing
going to
do.
have a better time.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Lower pressure.
Yeah.
Plus, you're going to screw up all the time anyway.
However,
especially on your first ones. You might as well screw up and have it feel safer.
However, 50-50, very torn on whether or not you should do that with significant others.
Oh, yes.
Because in college, there was a perfectly kind, totally normal dude I was dating, and he joined me for a 48-hour film competition.
Okay.
And at the end of it said, "Don't you dare ever attempt to put me on one of your sets again.
Ooh.
I don't like who you are when you direct."
So you don't bring your significant others on a set.
Yeah.
That's a directing don't. Is that your first directing don't?
I don't know if I would say that's a directing don't, but maybe that's more of just like a feel things out. If you have a very strained relationship with a friend or a family member, maybe don't make them come onto set.
Yeah. Find
Maybe.
someone else to do it.
Yeah. Go with your close friends.
It might be hard too, though, because let's be honest, a lot of people just don't want to help out on an indie film.
They don't want to be involved in an indie film. They do not.
My favorite, I think, is when you bring your friends on, especially if they're volunteering to be extras or something like that, and they have no idea how a set works.
Yeah.
And how boring it is.
Because it's so boring.
If you're on camera and you are an extra, you have nothing to do.
No, you don't. And you have to hope that despite it being an indie film set, the schedule was kind enough to only keep you there for the moments you really have to be there, and you're not just stuck there all day.
Oh, maybe that's a directing don't.
Don't screw your schedule over.
Yeah, don't waste the extras times.
Yeah, you really shouldn't.
Have you had that happen where you were on camera and you got like bookended? By that I mean,
that you were in the beginning and you were at the end
of the shoot. Yeah, that is infuriating when that happens to me.
It's exhausting.
When it's like, well, we have a 10-day shoot and you have your role is on camera and they bring you in right at the beginning and then you realize that like, oh my God, they're not recording my next set of lines until another 8 hours, maybe if they stay on time.
If you even have lines, if you're an extra, you might just be standing there.
Yes.
I will say, actually, my first experience to that was not on an indie film set.
Oh, what was it?
It was on the set of, it was on the set of Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You were on Lethal Weapon 4.
Yeah. So that
Name dropping time.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's make it one of those indie film podcasts where we start talking about all the famous people that we know.
Unfortunately, Richard Donner has passed away, and that is actually very sad. That broke my heart because he was cool. He's the reason I went into film.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I was 6 on
So
that set.
you were a child actor.
I was
What's
a
the
child
story?
actor, so now I'm an indie filmmaker. It's a really long story, and it really doesn't have that much to do with directing. But basically, it was a room of, I mean, it was the entire first floor of a hospital, a defunct hospital.
Okay.
But a hospital that they were shooting at for the hospital scene.
Yeah.
And they just had enough people to make it look like it was a very full hospital, just sitting there waiting. And then when they needed some extras, they had an AD or a PA or somebody go rope a bunch of people down, bring them up in the elevator to the third floor that we were shooting on, and then spill out the extras and then roll them all back down when you're done with them. And it was just sitting there waiting all day long.
Damn.
Well, that's what my family did. I hung out with the director all day instead because that was way more fun.
Oh,
but yeah, that up and down, it was just, that's it. It was like this little zoo of extras on the first floor.
Right on. And you got on there. Wasn't it like a cereal box competition or something like that? Where like
No, it was like a auction thing for my dad's work where he just won a walk-on role for the whole family. So my mom and my dad and my brothers and I were just all extras in Lethal Weapon 4, except the director liked me. So I just hung out with him and his
fun.
PA and and Joe Pesci and Mel Gibson and just spent the day with them. And it was
Name
really
drops.
fun. Now I am name dropping,
Boom.
but they were actually fun. I know things are a little mixed on some of those people now. I'm just saying, when I was 6, I had a good time. It was fun. It was very exciting for me as a 6-year-old. So
Right on. Well, that's cool.
we're not like friends. I can't call them up for favors because trust me, if I could, I wouldn't be an indie filmmaker.
Yes, we already exhausted all of our contacts to try to get funding for our productions.
Yes.
Please.
That's not really name dropping. That's experience dropping. I got very lucky to experience that, and it's put me on a course.
Yeah, very cool.
That's it.
So you did end up spending a lot of time as an extra. And that is one of those things I would say as a director. I do want to say this. I've only co-directed one short film at this juncture in my career. Lower Gentry Studios has produced a lot of content. And it's kind of like a gray area what everybody's role is. But I did officially co-direct one short film. But, working with a sibling who is the director in these things, I feel like I have a lot of criticisms I can share about his directing ability. So I was looking forward to this podcast.
Very excited to just throw your brother under the bus.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, you don't want to tell these things to their face because it seems so personal. I just want to go around. I'm going to record this all for the public eye, and then he can learn about my opinion of him.
Yeah, you're going to find out if
internet.
You're going to find out if he listens to the podcast.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Because he's usually like, "Oh, that was a great podcast," and he'll throw out one quote, and I'm like, "I don't know if you just scrubbed this on the timeline and then
found it
and then sent me whatever you landed on, or if you actually listened to the damn thing." No, I'm sure he does. He's a great brother. We have a great relationship. But
you two work really well together, which is impressive. Because as I stated before, if you have a tumultuous relationship with some family members, maybe don't work with them. But you and Elliot do it really, really well.
We do okay. For some reason, film is conducive to siblings, and whereas music, for some reason, they want to murder each other. So I don't know why that is. But we did try to work together musically, and it didn't quite work out as well as the film stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
at each other's throat and speaking in an Irish accent. I'm trying to think of was it Oasis? Were they Irish? I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that was my reference. But directing don'ts. So roles of the director. Maybe we should kind of go over that because it covers a lot of stuff.
It does because technically they're going to be the one kind of ensuring the cohesiveness of the entire project.
Yes, which is you're working with anywhere from one other person.
Yeah.
If you're running camera yourself as a director and you have one actor on screen.
Yeah.
And maybe you just have them laved up.
But then
and
you're
no
also going to be coordinating with your locations, right? And your production designer and any costumes or makeup stuff. You're going to be, if there's choreography for a fight or anything like that, or an intimacy coordinator. You're also going to be talking to all your producers to make sure that they're happy or are making you happy, depending on if they're an executive producer or associate.
There we go.
Yeah,
because production
a
is a huge thing. I didn't even realize it took me years of making indie films to learn what a producer was. I didn't know what a producer was.
It's because it's kind of vague too, and it can't. There's a little.
Some producers just give you cash.
Yeah.
And others help you with the logistics of the production,
and can help you sell the film afterward too.
Yeah,
and help with your marketing strategy.
So business end stuff. But I feel like a director ends up handling a lot of that stuff. And a lot of times you can't even get an assistant director. So a director is in charge of sending
Also, all the
schedule
scheduling
out to everybody so the actors know where and when to show up.
and therefore handling a lot of like image releases, location
Yes.
releases, all the paperwork side of things.
Yes. So if you have a production company where it's just you or you and one other person,
Yeah.
you end up having to do a lot of stuff
Yeah.
outside of just the actual filmmaking.
Yeah, because then there's the whole, you know, you also have to like work with your actors.
True.
Too.
So
I
when
didn't even mention that when I was giving that list.
Yes.
Sorry.
You actually have to direct actors.
You do have to do that too.
Yeah. Indie film sets, you mostly get overwhelmed with all the logistics of things. But no, you do need to make sure that you're working with the camera. And if you're not handling the camera, communicating with the cinematographer what shots you want and working with the actors to make sure that their performance is coming across as what you imagined or
what you want and if it's believable or if you don't want it to be believable or, you know, yeah.
Do you have some horrible directing stories where you really screwed up while you were directing?
I like to say that I'm kind of an asshole when I direct.
Okay.
Which I think I am. I think it's terrible. Especially for live productions.
Okay. Because you've directed film, but you've done a lot of
I've done
theater.
a lot of stage and theater and live musicals. So I do a lot of making the actors do a lot of the work.
Okay.
Like,
so what does that look like? When you're saying I'm going to make the actors do a lot of the work, what does that look like?
That means for the first few weeks of rehearsals, I don't really want to see the same thing twice.
Oh, okay.
Bring me something new every time.
Nice.
Yeah, and if there's something that I really, really like, then I'm going to take notes and we'll call back to it as we start really honing in your character and really working through it together. But I like it to be a really team building activity, I guess, where you're working together as a team to build your character or your characters, depending on what kind of cast it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't like seeing the same thing twice. I want show me some exciting stuff. Do something new. Do something weird. Does it work? Maybe not, but I want to see it.
Right on. Yeah. Well, when do you draw the line when it's too extreme? When do you draw the line when it's too extreme? Because I've done that on the one co-directing experience that I have because I work with audio and, you know, audio visual stuff on a computer. Usually you crank it if it's like, oh, I need to get rid of the bass. Well, I'm going to get rid of so much bass to where it sounds weird and then dial it back up, you know, or with color grading, it's like, I'm going to turn the reds up way too high until it's unrealistic and then bring it back.
Yeah.
And when I was doing that with actors, not necessarily didn't land perfectly because it's like, I don't know how to go so far over the top that it is ridiculous, you know, but for some reason in my brain, it's like, I want to see it where it just doesn't work at all. So we can work down from there.
I feel like, oh, and I wish I could remember who said this, but the whole thing about porn, like I may not be able to describe it, but I know it when I see it.
Oh, okay. There we go.
If that makes sense.
Nice.
And
we reference porn a lot. It's because we're indie filmmakers in Idaho, and if you haven't listened to all these episodes, basically porn is no longer allowed here.
Not allowed in Idaho
You just
anymore.
can't get access to porn. No, I mean, I guess you can, but you have to enter in your driver's license and like take pictures on all these websites because they need to make sure that you're 18.
Yeah, and do not upload your driver's license to a porn site.
Yeah.
No shade for any. I'm just saying, don't upload your driver's license to a site that I don't think I trust the security protocol protections on that. Don't upload your driver's license to that.
I wouldn't upload my driver's license to some of the most trusted sites.
I hate uploading my driver's license to the DMV.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't know if they've ever made me do that. But it's supposed to be a secure site. But
yeah.
I also know what our government funding looks like, so I do not trust DMV security.
Yeah. Yeah, so
anyway.
Just be careful. Just be careful with your identity because identity theft is a real thing.
It's so very real.
It's not blown out of proportion.
It's not. It's very real.
You got to be careful with that shit.
Yes.
So anyway, you know, like porn, you know when you see the execution when you see it.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really love telling actors too is like I will tell you when to pull back. In the meantime, give me everything you got. Go full bore. Go all out.
Cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like that's one thing that I learned when I was acting, unfortunately, because we did cast myself in a lot of our early productions, and I'm not an actor. And so I always assumed that it was about executing things naturally, and that's not necessarily everything that acting is because I didn't have the ability to push up past the point. And then my brother would always point out that it's always easier to tell people to dial back than it is to tell them to dial up.
Yeah, because they don't want to.
So if you're dealing with someone, or if you have an audition, I would say that if you have somebody that you're worried about being able to push it up to that next level, don't go that route, because it's going to be harder to take somebody that's subtle and get them to act in an extreme way than it is to take somebody that has an over-the-top nature and bring them back. I mean, look at Jim Carrey. What an amazing actor.
And could you imagine him playing something flat?
No. But Truman Show, he did really well on that.
But he wasn't flat.
That's true.
Yeah, it was dialed back, but I wouldn't call it flat.
Yeah. But it's pretty amazing.
But it's having that nuance and that scale and that know-how. And I mean, I guess there's my directing. Don't work with trash actors.
There we go.
Just don't. Just be picky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might have to. You might just have to work with your friends and family.
Unless you're working with your friends and family.
Yeah. And if you are and they're bad, make sure you tell them that they are trash.
No.
This is horrible. Just be like, I'm only bringing you on here because you're volunteering. If I had money, you definitely wouldn't be on my set at all, which is true.
Well, I will say, and maybe, I don't know if it's just Idaho. I don't think it is. But, I mean, we've got a really good talent pool here.
True. There's good talent pools everywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like.
So, I mean, you're not going to be at a shortage of finding a good actor. You might be at a shortage of finding a good place to put some actors. For some, and they might be your best friend and the most talented actor in the entire world. And it's like, well, I need someone that comes across as sleazy sales guy, and you're a wholesome girl next door. This isn't going to work. You're not going to succeed in this role.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's just to say not every actor can play every part. And that's not an insult.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are more skilled in certain areas than others.
And some of them just play certain types better or have certain looks.
Don't put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, there we go. I like that directing.
Don't put square pegs in round holes, just like in kindergarten they teach you that.
And I think that applies to your crew too.
Yeah.
If you've got a really good cinematographer, don't hand him a boom.
No.
At least not without asking if they've ever done location sound before.
Yes. Give him the camera. Yeah. Let go of the camera, you crazy director. Just give it up. Give it up to your cinematographer who's super solid.
Yes.
That's true. But I don't think that anybody who's a really good cinematographer would be given a boom. But if you're doing that and you're a director, just knock it off.
Okay, maybe there are less extreme examples, but that gets the point across.
Although, you never know. There's been directors that have popped in and then quickly left the scene that I was like, I don't know what the hell that person's doing.
I don't know what that was.
Maybe they were giving cinematographers the boom pole.
Maybe.
Yeah. Don't put people in bad areas.
Yeah, but don't underestimate people. Like I guess that would be. So one of my I have a directing do. It's not a don't.
It's in double don't. Double negative mix up.
Don't. Just fucking listen to people.
Yeah.
Listen.
I have a note on that too, that communication is basically the most important thing to have on a film set, and it's on the director's shoulders.
It is. You're the one who facilitates what type of communication is expected and will or will not be tolerated. And
Correct.
Those are really important things to set as a big atmosphere for your shoot as a whole. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And if we're talking about
and listening,
the actual functionality of the set, and I guess I didn't know what an AD did, assistant director. We never had an AD until recently. That was just a new addition that we made, which it's awesome to have one, but we didn't know that there was somebody whose job it was to send out call sheets. That's the notification of where you're supposed to be. And don't underestimate how much communication is necessary for people to get the communication.
Much. Yeah, so much.
Don't send out long emails.
Don't send long emails. Don't send an email without demanding confirmation that they received it and a deadline for that confirmation. There's one AD that I worked with this year, and I got to tell you, she blew my mind. Her name is Jess Winfrey, and she is just solid.
Cool. What was the difference?
She would send out all the call sheets in super short emails. Just like, hey, call sheet for tomorrow. Here are the biggest safety concerns. Here are the biggest,
bullet points.
Just a quick, easy breakdown of what needed to happen, what was going to happen, the deadline by which you needed to confirm that you received that call sheet. And if you didn't get back to her, she was hounding you like nobody's but not that I knew, of course. I totally responded to all of it. She didn't have to follow up with me at all, I'm sure. No, she was amazing. And then on set, I mean, it helps that she also knew her way around a lot of gear.
Yeah.
And like getting good shots so she could step in when the director wasn't available to actually grab some really, really good shots too. But she was just a powerhouse. I mean, she could do everything. She's handling like all the grocery shopping stuff and who's picking up what because we were on location and when it's being delivered, who's in charge of which meal stuff. And to be fair, it was a really skeleton crew for sure. And mainly a husband and wife duo handling the majority of it. And kudos to them for being able to handle everything that they were handling while also being the director and DP and then also lead producer and lead actress.
Yeah.
So like there was a lot going on there. It sounds a lot like Lower Gentry, to be fair.
You're lucky to get 5 people together that want to work on crew in an indie film production, especially when it's volunteer.
It's so hard.
Usually you can sell actors because if they don't have a lot of IMDb film credits,
Then
it'd just be like, hey, I know how to log into IMDb. Somebody I know, or if you have a pro account and you can upload all your information on your film and tag them, and then all of a sudden they're legitimate people on IMDb. It helps.
It does look
but
good.
When people are, I don't know a lot of aspiring assistant directors out there.
There aren't a ton.
Or aspiring assistant camera ops.
There aren't a ton. There are not a lot.
Yes.
But man, when you find good ones,
it's amazing.
hang on to that contact info. Don't ever let it go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any other do's or don'ts for people? There's so many don'ts.
Yeah, I was like, honestly, there's so many don'ts.
I think,
like, don't overextend yourself.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to delegate.
True.
You got to delegate shit
Delegating is important. That's all comes down to communication. I feel
Yeah.
like unless you're communicating clearly with everybody, you're going to put yourself in a bad spot.
Yeah.
You're going to paint yourself in a corner, and that's a bad spot to be in.
Rough spot. You're just surrounded
Just
by
picture
paint
that.
smell.
Just picture that. Yourself painted in a corner because all the things that you did do that you should not have done.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation
That
to be
one's
in.
tricky.
Do you have some directing in films that you love and hate?
I do. Yeah.
What do you got? What do you hate? What do you think is bad directing?
Okay. And legitimately, this is still on my LinkedIn profile, right?
Oh, okay. About this director you hate?
Yes.
Oh, nice. What's your LinkedIn profile say?
It says that I edit, direct. Okay, I don't remember the exact language now. I should have had that right.
I put you on the spot.
Basically, it says I make movies better than Tommy Wiseau,
Oh,
which is a low bar.
nice.
But fuck Tommy Wiseau.
What was his famous
The Room.
Oh, The Room.
Room.
If you're not familiar with The Room, The
It's
Room
awful. Don't be.
It's a famously bad indie film movie where the dialogue is atrocious.
It's so bad.
And
And
it looks
realistically,
bad.
if you're
Sounds bad.
if you really want to watch The Room, don't watch The Room. Watch the Angry Video Game Nerds review of The Room.
Oh, okay.
That's entertaining.
Right on. Is it like a Mystery Science Theater type thing where they're watching it and
Kind
talking about it at
of,
the
except
same
it just
time?
like cuts to him, and then he shows you a clip exemplifying the thing that he's talking. It's a legitimate review of it.
Oh, okay,
but,
cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, The Room. I don't know. I laughed. It's good to just get drunk and laugh.
No, because that, and I understand. I get that it is just jealousy. I know. All right, I'm aware. But come on, that movie is so bad.
Yeah. Why does
And
his
everybody
bad movie?
watches it.
Yeah. Why does his
But
bad movie?
I make a bad movie, and I don't even get fastest gong to the gong show. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, it was close. She's referencing the fact that we recently had a gong show, a film-themed gong show in
Yes.
Boise, and you nearly won fastest gong
That was
with your
close.
Tweezers movie.
Yeah. I mean,
there
to
was-
be fair, it's a really bad movie that I made in
There was
2011.
There was another horror film that snuck in underneath you and
did.
got gonged even faster.
I know.
It was pretty ridiculous visuals on all of them, but it was great. It was great. So I'm gonna make a hot take here, and I'm gonna talk about M. Night Shyamalan.
Nope, that's not a hot take. Go on.
Isn't? Oh, okay.
No, I don't
Well,
think that's
I
a
mean,
hot take. Well, wait, are you saying he's really good or really bad?
really bad.
No, that's not a hot take.
Oh, okay. Does everybody dislike him now?
Oh, I assumed at this point.
Okay, because
I
like
mean,
Sixth
they had
Sense was
to.
cool when it came out, and so was Unbreakable was a unique movie. But I recently watched Old,
Oh,
and it was so bad, and that's hard because the writing was awful, and I don't know how you would direct an actor or how an actor would even, express that dialogue in an interesting way. But have you seen Old?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And so the idea of Old is that these people go on this they get stuck on this magical beach that forces them to age. Like time goes by like 10 times quicker.
Yeah.
And they tell you that in the movie.
Yep.
So whatever the ratio is, somebody quote unquote discovers it because there's a couple kids and they're like, oh my God.
And they walk away for an hour and
they come back and they're like, well, you were gone for an hour. Well, it looks like you've been gone for 1 year and 5 days. And it's like, oh my God, we're on a weird beach where 1 hour is 1 year and 5 days. And they're like,
it was like 8 years. It's 1 hour is like 8 years or so. It was ridiculous. It was awful.
Yeah. And there was one scene where somebody starts to lose their mind because it's kind of like a horror movie, and this guy starts losing it, and so this woman like takes a knife that was like rusty because it had been on the beach for like 20 minutes or whatever, which is like 1,000 years, and so she cuts the guy with this knife, and then you can see obviously like the infection spreads really quickly because time's accelerated there.
Yeah.
But then as it's happening, she's describing like the
what's
physics on
happening
this
in the
island.
process.
Like, oh, well, I cut you, and because time goes quicker on this weird beach area, now your infection is spreading in seconds instead of taking weeks. And
tetanus is instantly set in, and blah blah.
I don't know. It was really funny.
No,
you should definitely watch. You should definitely watch Old, and then anytime
turn it
they
into
have
a drinking game, and anytime
expository dialogue.
take a shot, see how that goes.
Yeah.
See if you can still breathe by the end of that movie.
I think that's M. Night Shyamalan's new MO is just expository dialogue. It's so bad.
It was rough. Though I will say I did watch The Watchers recently, which loved the book so hard. And they took some creative liberties. And I don't remember if that one was directed by Shyamalan or
M. Night Shyamalan.
His daughter?
Shyamalan.
It might have been his daughter.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know for sure. But
because there's no nepotism in Hollywood at all.
No.
It's all merit-based.
Yes.
So one mediocre director can begot another mediocre director. And it's okay because they're all making millions, making art because it's, slam dunk. It must be genetic. It must be genetic.
Some skill sets really are. They are.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was his daughter or something, or she is directing films.
Yeah, but he was still one of the producers on it for sure.
I'm happy about that. I'm very happy that all these multiple millions of dollars are just going to children of famous people. That it's been going on forever though.
Well, yeah, I was like, that's not
like
new.
Hollywood is notorious for that shit.
Yeah.
So
that's the industry.
Yes.
That's the industry we're willingly trying to break into.
Yeah. Good luck there.
So fun.
There's not any. I was trying to find an industry that was merit based, and the only one that popped up if you Google it is sports. Like, there's no way that you're gonna, force somebody. I mean, you even look at LeBron James. Like, he tried to get his kid in, and they have him in the D League. It's like you're not good enough.
I will say, in the earlier days, software engineering, coding, programming, that sort of stuff was
probably.
Definitely very merit based. Like, if you were a solid coder, you were going to get to work anywhere.
Oh,
because everybody needed coders because nobody had them.
Now it's ChatGPT.
Now you make ChatGPT write all your SQL queries for you.
Nice.
Anyway.
Good. Should we talk about good directors?
Yes.
Who do you want to talk about?
I feel bad because I feel like this month already I've mentioned Baz Luhrmann for sure. I think he is just...
You do like Baz. You like
I
the Baz.
love Baz Luhrmann. I really do. And I will also say, and this one might be more controversial, Mike Flanagan. Again, some of his stuff... Okay, I'm not going to say that Midnight Mass was the best thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
But it worked.
And that was the
worked.
TV show about vampires.
Catholic vampires. I think the best example actually was... It
was supposed to be an analogy for something in the Catholic Church that they were doing, I think. But I can't imagine. I don't know what the analogy would be, the analogous situation.
Yeah.
But they were vampires in the Catholic Church that preyed upon victims.
Yeah. And were worshipped for it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I can't imagine what that was representing.
There might be a different religion. I might be getting confused with something else.
But he also, I really should have confirmed this. I believe he also did the retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher that came out as a Netflix series, I want to say.
Cool.
And that one I feel like is a really good example of creative directing because one, obviously the set design on everything is just gorgeous. It's so pretty. The whole thing is beautiful. The cinematography is stunning, but it is so much dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it stays interesting.
Oh.
And I
cool.
want to give a lot of credit to the director for sure for making that happen. But you really got to give it to those actors for if you can sit there and have a 9, 10, 15-minute monologue.
Damn.
And I'm still interested in what you're saying. I haven't just picked up my phone and I'm just now playing a phone game while it plays in the background. Like, kudos to you. That's impressive.
That's impressive.
So...
yeah, I think my limit's like 15 seconds, and I'm like, swipe up to the next vid.
Short form versus long form content.
Yes.
We'll be discussing that. No, I don't think we'll be discussing that.
I don't want to. Short form. We do short form content, unfortunately. We've been doing it with this podcast, and it's important because people like it.
Which is weird.
Mm-hmm. But, they also used to like a lot of sugary sodas and fast food in the late 90s, and
Look where that got us.
Look where that got us.
What about you? Give me some
Scorsese is one of my favorites as far as directing, and
okay.
I like his creative choices kind of throughout all of his movies. I always think about his needle drops and
nice,
the Departed, and like that takes place in Boston, and he has a lot of like Flogging Molly. I think it's Flogging Molly that he uses,
or Dropkick Murphys,
Yeah, he just uses their tracks, and I think that's really cool that. A lot of times he doesn't have a score in his films. He'll just do needle drops of popular music, and it always works. Yeah. And it takes some extra effort, I'm sure, to figure out what works there.
Some credit to whoever was responsible for the overall score, right? Because they would have been the one kind of taking like what the director wanted and mixing that in with whatever soundscaping they were building too. Yeah. But
I don't think The Departed really has much score. I think it's all just needle drops. Yeah.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah. Scorsese usually does that. He just uses music.
Oh, I guess I assumed there would be some sort of ambient kind of sound.
He doesn't have any. He doesn't have any.
Maybe
what's his name?
Assumed there would
Danny
be.
Elfman or anything like that in there.
No John Williams for him.
No John Williams.
Nope. Not everyone's a Spielberg.
Yep.
Okay, well then can I throw in a shameless mention of another director?
Yes, do it.
Okay, Greta Gerwig.
Okay.
For sure.
Barbie.
Barbie was so well done because that movie is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is over the top.
And it's silly. Mm-hmm. And it works. Everything about it works. Everything is cohesive. Everything works well together. It's so over the top. But still, I'm in it. I'm in that world and I'm loving every minute of it. Right on. And absolutely loving Rhea Perlman appearing again for something because I loved watching her in Cheers. Oh. Yeah. Carla.
Yeah, Barbie, I thought it was okay.
That's fine. Okay.
That was fine.
I loved it.
No, show me a movie Ken. I'm all in it. I didn't think they focused.
Just Ken.
I think they didn't focus enough on Ken doll in that.
Yeah, but he's just Ken. I mean, sure. Anywhere else, he'd be a 10. But you're not. You don't like the movie enough to catch the. I was in and out. Mind.
I tried. Okay. I watched it.
You did,
but sometimes I had things going on in my own brain that were more interesting than what was on the screen in front of me. But that was to me. That was subjective.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well.
Should we talk about recommendations for people to get better in directing?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, my number one favorite was, fucking listen. And then I would say the other thing is to experience what you're trying to put people through.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
So if you're demanding that Crafty run a certain way, when was the last time you got off your ass and ran Crafty for somebody else's set?
Ooh, damn. Sounds like you got some personal experience on that one.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It just sounded good.
Yeah, nice.
But I mean, the best way to get better at directing is to understand the cohesiveness that is required to go into a film. And the best way to get that is by helping out other people on their sets, learning how other people do things, learning how some things can run really smoothly, and just seeing how other people work together and what you like and what you don't.
Yeah. I like the listening thing.
Yeah.
And listen to your sound guy, too. Listen to your location
sound guy.
Always
listen to your location sound
because
guy.
If your location sound guy is telling you that there's some fucked up stuff going on, he's right.
If your location sound guy says, you need another take, Just believe him.
Yeah, unfortunately, you need to have all the pieces in place. And if your location sound guy is telling you you're going to have to ADR that thing because it's too noisy, then just get ready for it.
It's like if your 1AC says, I don't think we hit that focus, then just get another take. Just do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. See, directors wouldn't question that, I would hope. Like, if something's out of focus, you got to fix it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the performance was if the
No.
technical aspect wasn't in place.
Yeah.
So, there we go. Anything else to add?
Other than perhaps a succinct goodbye and a closeout to the perils of production.
Yeah, this is the closeout to the perils of production. Goodbye.